When we think about Hawaii, we often think of all the problems that it comes with. Now, for some people, they think the biggest problem is homelessness. Some people will argue that the number one problem is the cost of living in Hawaii. Some people think tourism is the problem. They think that we're relying on it a little bit too heavy and that it's taking away resources from the Aina. But today, I'm going to make a case that corruption is actually the biggest problem in Hawaii. Now, this is not my personal belief. I'm just covering this story. Now, we all know that Hawaii has a tradition of going crazy on New Year's. When you're this crazy for fireworks, accidents are bound to happen. Who remembers in 2025? There was an incident in Salt Lake where 6 total people ended up dying. On top of that, there was about like 20 people or something that was seriously injured. And this was a major news story. But you might have not heard about this one.
And an investigation is underway on Maui after a Kahului resident says an aerial firework damaged their home.
Holy shit.
Resident says the blast blew off the side of the home on Pu'umakani Street. They say the firework did not come from their property.
So in 2026, we had the Maui firework incident. Now this one didn't get as much news coverage. A lot of people actually didn't hear about this one. But there ended up being $36,000 worth of property damage. Now on the outside looking in, I think we all can agree that this seems like a pretty straightforward case. Someone was playing with fireworks illegally, one shot into a neighbor's house, and the house blew up. $36,000 of damage. Seems pretty straightforward. Whoever was playing with the fireworks should pay for the damage and face some sort of punishment. But here was the actual result. For this incident, there was no arrest, there was no charges, there was no financial compensation. The family is still fighting. They're fighting for their justice. Now you might be thinking, this makes no sense. How the hell do we have a situation where someone blows someone up with a firework and nothing happens about it? First and foremost, Maoli! Maoli was involved in this case. How, you may ask? Boys, Maoli was throwing the party. The firework originated from a New Year's gathering next door hosted by Hawaii music icon Glenn Awang, aka Maoli. Is he responsible? Maybe, maybe not. But what we do know is that the firework blew up at his party. Alright, second fact. This guy was there. Mike Vaitu'ulala. You guys might not know this guy. He's not famous, but he's known in Maui. He's a lieutenant of Maui Police Department, which is a high rank. He was at this party as well. So people started questioning, if there's a high-ranking police officer, why the hell was there illegal fireworks going on at this party? Why didn't he stop this from happening? And more importantly, why is nobody being held accountable? Fast forward to today, 6 months later. Turns out that Mike, the lieutenant from Maui, is under federal investigation for public corruption. If you guys don't know, a federal investigation is pretty serious. A lot of times it's way worse than a state investigation. Federal agencies possess vast resources, move slowly to build airtight cases, and result in dramatically harsher sentencing guidelines and higher conviction rates. So the question is, what is Mike being charged for? What do the feds have on him? Number one, he was protecting criminal operations. They found out that Mike was protecting chicken fight operations, of course firework operations, we probably seen that one coming, and he was protecting drug operations. What does this mean by protecting criminal operations? It means that he was helping organize it as someone on the inside from HPD. Number two, he was leaking sensitive information. What does this mean? It means that he would give the criminals information. If someone had a wiretaped, he would let them know, hey, you're gonna be wiretaped. Don't say anything dumb. Or if the police is undercover, he would tell the criminal organization, hey, undercover's coming for you. Watch out for these guys. And number three, of course, he was accepting bribes. Everything that the drug dealers were making, everything that the chicken fights were making, all the fireworks, Mike would take a cut. So what does Mike face in prison? Well, if he gets charged as guilty, he will face up to 20 years in prison and a fine up to $250,000. Now, because this became public information, the report had to come out, and here's where it gets interesting. If you go down to page 28, you'll find this. On January 1st, multiple witnesses confirmed that Vaitu'ulala was present at Person 3's home on Maui where illegal fireworks were being displayed. A neighbor's house caught on fire as the fireworks were being set off. Remember, the home where the illegal fireworks were being set off was Maoli's home. So Maoli is Person 3. Now, if you go a little bit more up inside the report, you'll find this. Person 3 was also this person's methamphetamine source of supply. Chat, what the hell? Maoli is Person 3 because it was his house that had the fireworks. But in that same report, Person 3 is also a methamphetamine source of supply? So, what was the public response? Well, first and foremost, there was this sus comment on Maoli's post on Instagram. Don't forget all the shit Mikey did for you. He always had your back. Make sure you have his. Now,
in case you didn't know, I'm the supplier. And I would be lying if I said that I had not I've been selling fire, even though I do colors all the time. I've been selling since a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know.
In the midst of all of this, Maoli announced a concert. If you look at the comments on this post, Glenna Wong, don't drop the soap. Gonna have fireworks? Question mark. It might not happen. He might get indicted. Is he even gonna make it? No messing around now. Everything is going downhill ever since Moani shut down for real, bah. It is Moani's fault, I think. So the question is, boys, is he guilty? Well, he's not guilty yet because today, a massive bombshell dropped. Prosecutors made mistake. Maoli, singer, is not a drug dealer, lawyer says. Federal prosecutors are admitting they made an error in court records last week that falsely suggested the popular Hawaiian reggae singer Maoli and a suspected meth supplier are the same person. That's gotta be one of the worst things you could be mistaken for. Besides being mistaken for something like Diddy. In a criminal complaint for a Maui police official accused of bribery, the U.S. Attorney Office made reference to the host of a New Year's party during which illegal fireworks shot into a neighbor's home. That incident occurred at a party hosted by Glenna Wong, also known as Maoli. In the complaint filed on August 6, prosecutors mistakenly referred to the party host as Person 3 and later in the complaint referred to Person 3 as the meth supplier. That was wrong. The party host should have been listed as Person 5. So Maoli is not Person 3 and instead he's Person 5 and this was all just a mistake. What was Maoli's response? Well, he didn't publicly come out, but his lawyer said, while Glenn appreciates the fulsome apology he has received from authorities, he remains troubled by the way some amateur online sleuths have misrepresented the facts of this case to menace Glenn, his wife, and their children. Now, this to me is interesting because it wasn't anybody's fault but the authorities. The amateur online sleuths was just reporting on the information given to them. That dangerous behavior must stop immediately and we are exploring all legal options to hold to account those who have defamed our client and threatened the safety of the entire Wong family. Interesting. So Maoli was accidentally mistaken as a meth dealer by the federal prosecutors. A couple days later, they come back and say, whoa, we made a mistake. Maoli's not the meth dealer, someone else is. And in response to that, Maoli and his team plans to take legal action on people reporting this online. So Maoli's good. He's not the meth dealer. Happy ending. We could all listen to Maoli's music still. Everything's good. But not so fast. Because remember what I said earlier about federal investigations? I said those cases are typically built airtight. They take their time, they collect as much evidence as possible, and make sure they make no mistakes so that they could get a higher chance of conviction. Well, guess what? They just made a huge mistake, and because it involved a celebrity like Maoli, that mistake was publicly widespread. And this mistake could end up being a big deal to the rest of the case because now Mike Vaitu'ulala, the lieutenant from Maui that we talked about earlier, has a shot of appealing this case, claiming the whole thing as invalid because they labeled Maoli as a meth dealer. So this case just keeps getting weirder and we're gonna follow this story. So make sure you hit that subscribe. Thank you for watching and shoots.